This is Hidden Killers with Tony Bruschi.
So picture this one. It's Christmas Day, 2024, in Ohio. Most families are unwrapping gifts, sipping eggnog, and trying to, tolerate their in-laws. 37-year-old Brittany Cole was in this situation. She had something a little more sinister up her sleeve, though. Instead of giving her 80-year-old father-in-law, David Cole Sr., a nice holiday card or a pair of cozy socks, she decided to kill him. And not in some heat-of-the-moment kind of way. No, this was planned. Brittany, who was studying to be a nurse, which is darkly ironic, mixed up a deadly cocktail for David Sr. She gave him 6 capsules of Tylenol with codeine, plus a nice chaser of ZzzQuil. Now, for anyone not in the medical field, that combination isn't exactly a recommended dosage. It's a one-way ticket to shutting down your body, especially for an elderly man. Brittany knew exactly what she was doing. Prosecutors later made it clear that she gave him those meds knowing they would kill him. And then, well, after David Sr. died, Brittany didn't do what a normal person would do, like call 911 and pretend it was an accident. Nope. Instead, she calmly started telling family members that she had moved to Cincinnati because, of course, that's totally normal. An 80-year-old man just up and leaves without a trace, no goodbye calls, no forwarding address, no nothing. It sounds legit that, he just decided to go move to Cincinnati. And if that wasn't bad enough, Brittany and her family packed their bags and took a little vacation to Orlando. Yeah, while his body was just sitting in the house. Yeah, she committed murder and then went for a fun getaway, as if she hadn't just poisoned a man to death. Priorities, It does kind of remind me of the Laundries a little bit. In the Gabby Petito situation where Brian shows back up with Gabby's van and no Gabby, and they go on a camping trip.
So bizarre. This is a good time to go camping.
In some sick way, I feel like they did that knowing he was going to kill himself. But let's go have one more fun family outing before Brian offs himself in the woods.
Could be.
That's my conjecture.
Yeah.
Now, here's where things get even messier. Fast forward a couple of weeks to January 8th of 2025, and Brittany is at a nursing school because apparently she still thought she had a future in healthcare. And her husband, 44-year-old David Cole Jr., finally stumbles upon Dad's remains. His dad's remains. Let me tell you, this is where it gets kind of really dumb. Instead of immediately calling the police like a normal person who finds a decomposing body in their house, he and Brittany start texting about the smell and how to get rid of it. Yes,
That's his dad. That's his dad.
Yeah. He didn't call the police. Oh my God, my wife is crazy. She killed my dad and his body's here. Or at the very least, Dad is dead and decomposing. Let's call 911. No. Did you get any of those 3 for $10 at Bath & Body this weekend? Those wallflowers? I like this one. I think the sandalwood really covers up the smell of rotting flesh. There are actual text messages between them discussing this. Let's pause for a moment, because if you ever find yourself texting someone about the smell of a body and body disposal instead of calling 911, congratulations, you've officially made some bad choices in life. And as if that wasn't enough to prove that they were in any way over their heads, investigators later found out a lovely little Google search on Brittany's phone from December 25th, the exact day she killed him. The search? You ready for it? When someone dies, how long does it take for the body to start smelling? It's kind of like a confession with Wi-Fi. It's also similar to what we have seen in another case, the Anna Walsh murder case, where Brian Walsh kills his wife, allegedly, on New Year's Eve, and then does the insane, 40 Google searches. I think that was one of his searches as well. There's more. On January 8th, the same day that David Jr. discovered his father's body, he ordered a mattress cover online. I don't know about you, but
This is his father.
if I find a dead body, my first instinct isn't to start online shopping. But apparently that's what made sense to him. Is it for the body, or is it just like, hey, we need a mattress cover? Just in case I wet the bed with some of these nightmares I'm going to have about finding my father dead. At this point, you're probably wondering where exactly was David Sr.'s body during all of this. Well, authorities found him stuffed in a shed, wrapped up in that mattress cover. Oh, so it was used. And a tarp, like he was a piece of old furniture that they didn't know what to do with. Investigators believe Brittany and David Jr. initially left him in a sunroom, but after coming back from Orlando, because of course they had to take their little trip first, they finally decided to move him to the shed, so they wouldn't have to deal with that smell. Let's talk motive. Turns out this wasn't just about getting rid of an in-law. This was all about money. After David Sr. died, Brittany kept collecting his $2,300 a month Social Security payment, and her husband made sure the money got to her. She used it to pay bills, utilities, and other household expenses. Just went about life like she hadn't just killed a man. Kind of extreme, kind of crazy that this is how that worked. But as you can probably guess, the whole thing fell apart spectacularly. Brittany was arrested, charged, and on February 25th, she was sentenced to life in prison. The catch? She'd be eligible for parole after 16 years. Like you do. Which honestly is wild considering she literally murdered someone, hid the body, went on vacation, and then just continued spending his money like nothing happened. As for her husband, David Jr., well, let's just say things aren't looking great for him either. He's facing 6 felony charges, including tampering with evidence, abuse of a corpse, and obstructing justice. He has not been arraigned yet, but it's safe to say that his life is about to get a whole lot worse. So let's review. Brittany poisoned her elderly father-in-law on Christmas Day, lied to everyone about him, moving to Cincinnati, went on vacation while his body rotted in your sunroom, Googled incriminating stuff, texted about the smell, kept cashing his checks, and somehow thought she'd get away with it. And yet here we are. She's in prison. Her husband's about to go to jail. And their grand criminal plan collapsed faster than a house of cards in a windstorm. The moral? If you're going to commit a crime this stupid, maybe don't have a digital trail that a middle schooler could crack in 5 minutes. But honestly, just don't commit murder. Because trust me, prison food is nowhere near as good as an Orlando vacation. Just not a good idea in any way, shape, or form. It amazes me the stupidity of people some days, Carol.
It's like, kill father-in-law. Let's go to Disney World. And like when she's at Disney World, she's having fun. She's doing the fun things. It's not like I'm sure she rented a hotel room just to sit there and mope. She's out participating and having fun. Knowing what she just did.
One of those things, like sometimes if you're in line at Disney World, you start like chatting with other folks in line because there's nothing else to do other than stare at your phone. Yeah. And sometimes like, oh, like where are you from? Da-da-da-da-da, that sort of stuff. I wonder what their conversations were like if they had any of them. It was like, oh, yeah, we're from over here, father-in-law just moved to Cincinnati, had some health concerns or like.
Then in her head, she's like, I bet it stinks in my house.
Or are you like, oh, we just left. We had to get rid of the smell. Why is that? Well, Dad's rotting in the sunroom, and we just thought it'd be better to go do a character breakfast over here.
I OD'd him. I am trying to get his Social Security. And that, all this shit will always come back to get you. You are not going to steal someone's Social Security indefinitely without that person having a trace of being on this earth. Yeah. But people do it. I mean, you hear about this all the time.
Because they can go for long periods of time before being caught.
There was a story I came across this week of a woman whose dad was in prison, and she wanted to get his veterans benefits or some kind of disability. It equated to maybe $350 a month. Mm-hmm. So she pretends she actually went through with it, even though she's married. She married her dad. so she could get that $350 in benefits. She married her own dad. And then they're like, wait a minute, you're already married. Oh, wait a minute. He's not your second cousin. He's your dad. All to get $350 a month. I'm like, girl, go get another part-time damn job. You know, you could go down the street and work fast food and make an extra $350 a month. But instead, she
Marry your dad.
tries to marry her dad.
Craving non-stop true crime updates? Press subscribe now and get the latest cases, analysis, and expert commentary delivered straight to your feed. Only from the Hidden Killers podcast and True Crime Today.